Hello and a very warm welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. I'm Tim and I've got a theory about car reviews. I think they're pointless because most people just go out and buy a car they like the look of, whether it's got a Mercedes star or a BMW badge on the front. They don't really care what the car itself is really like to a great degree. So why am I reviewing a van-based MPV? It's a Citroen Berlingo, and looking at it, frankly, it's probably not going to get you laid, although it actually might be quite good in the lay-by. But anyway, it's a very good thing to actually live with if you've got kids, if you've got a family, or if you've got the need to carry large amounts of stuff around. It's pretty decent. So let's take a look at it and find out if we should get beyond the looks. Have I got a fly on my head? If you're a regular viewer, then apologies for the low quality output. I'm very consistent, but you would have noticed I've already reviewed a Berlingo, the electric Berlingo, back in 2022. And that was good. It was a van, it had space for my kids and space for stuff, but the electric powertrain made it expensive at about £33,000, and you could only really go about 150 miles on a charge. And Citroen has heard the whinges in the comments on that video because they brought back diesel and petrol. They went off sale for about a year, but they brought them back because demand apparently was high. So yeah, this is a 1.5 litre diesel with 130 horsepower and automatic gearbox. You can also get 1.2 petrol and a lower power diesel as well with a manual gearbox. Starts from 25 grand. This one's 28 grand because it's got the automatic gearbox, and it's got one option, which is 700 pounds of metallic grey paint. Doesn't exactly look thrilling, and I might struggle to make a YouTube thumbnail out of this that will excite. So I'll probably use Photoshop AI to put sharks jumping through the air or something. But you don't buy this for style. You buy it for interior space and boot space. Let's check that out. One of the main advantages of buying a car that's been based on a van is sliding doors. If you've got young kids like me, they can't smack them open into the car next to you in a multi-storey car park. It does make getting child seats in and out much easier. And it also means you can kind of walk through the van as well, because look, there's no big transmission tunnel down here getting in my way. Now the Berlingo has a few nice features. I'm in an entry-level field model, but I still get little picnic tables. I've got little pockets down here for my stuff, but otherwise it is a little bit basic back here. I've got some standard fit cyclists in here. I don't have any USBs for charging, and the seat backs are pretty upright and you can't recline them or slide them, which is a little bit of a miss. And actually, knee room is a little bit tight. There is a bigger version of this though. This is the M. There's also a Berlingo XL, which is a bit longer and has 7 seats as well. In fact, it's quite a bit longer. It's about 30 centimeters longer. This one's only 4.4 meters long, which makes it roughly the same length as a Volkswagen Tiguan or Nissan Qashqai. Now, it might not be the sexiest back end in the business, but the Berlingo has some useful features. It can tow up to 900 kilograms in a petrol version or 1,000 kilograms in this automatic diesel, which isn't a huge amount. That's on a braked trailer as well. I should point out, you do get rear parking sensors as standard on a field model, but even on a top spec Flare XTR model, you have to pay extra for a reversing camera, and you kind of want it really, because it's a bit vanny in here. The boot is massive. It's 1,255 litres. It is a huge space. It's got a folding parcel shelf. Nothing really fancy, but you can fit a lion in there, probably, and you'd be safe as well because you get this lovely mesh metal bulkhead. You don't get that in the electric version. That does make it feel a bit like you're driving a prison van though at times, but maybe that's your thing. Right, I'm just nipping behind the camera to show you the interior of the Berlingo because it's easier. There's a little bit to show you in here. It is very clearly based on a van. Look at these plastics. They are scratchier than a DJ's turntable, but you do get some useful storage bins. You get this one here, which is quite handy. You've got one behind the infotainment screen down there, and you've got this massive one up in the roof. I imagine a plumber would probably be using that for their pornography, but you can use it for packets of wet wipes and things like that in family life. You've got big old door bins down here. You've got a little one here, and down here you've got cup holders and a manual handbrake 12-volt socket. More storage here, more storage there. This, which I think only just fits Red Bull and nothing else. And you've got a glove box up here, which is quite big and deep. You've got loads and loads of places to stick stuff. But yeah, it doesn't feel massively high tech. You've got a nice steering wheel, but you don't get the full digital dashboard that you get on the electric Berlingo. You just get this little screen in the middle there, and to be honest, it's perfectly adequate. We can have a look and see what MPG I've been getting out of this diesel. I've been getting 45 MPG, and I've just done a lot of motorway driving. That does drop to 35 in town. You get a single armrest on the seats, which adds to the comfort. Grey cloth, which is a bit doomy and a bit gloomy, but you do get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if you plug in using the USB there, and you get basic aircon in this fuel model. You don't get proper climate control, and you get this thing to change gear. Now, you can probably tell the Berlingo is putting practicality above everything else, but how does it actually drive? Well, let's hit the road and find out. Not literally hit the road. I don't want to die. Not today. It doesn't sound like a van when you close the door. And that's the thing about the Berlingo. I drove the regular panel van Berlingo, I've lost the key, a couple of years ago. And that is one of the better driving small vans out there, I think. Anyway, it feels quite car-like. And that bodes well for how this drives. It does, to some extent, just really feel like a car. Sure, the diesel engine is a little bit gruff, but I had this diesel engine in my Peugeot 3008 last year, and it felt much the same. There's a youth on his bike on the phone. So yeah, it doesn't rattle around like a van does. Hell, that Volkswagen multivan that I had the other week, that cost more than twice what this costs. And because that's a bigger van, it felt tinnier and more rattly. This just feels like a car, really. Now, the handling is pretty good. You come up to a roundabout, you don't have to slow down more than you think to go around it. Sure, your passengers might fall out their seats a bit because they're not that supportive in this, to be honest, but you can go around the roundabout pretty damn fast. The brakes are pretty decent as well. Again, in that Volkswagen multivan, that had loads of clever plug-in hybrid stuff, and that made it heavy and it made the brakes feel a little bit weak. Not in this. The gearbox is an 8-speed automatic, and it's not slow, it's not dim-witted. It's always in the gear you want it to be in. I don't like the plasticky paddles that don't really move when you use them, but I never use the paddles in a car that I'm driving unless it's a GT3 RS or something like that. Even the ride in this is pretty decent. Now, admittedly, this is on small wheels and it's got steel wheels with hubcaps, you might have noticed. The top spec one is where you need to go for alloy wheels. But down a bumpy back road like this, it's fine. I'm not being jolted around, it's composed. Honestly, this Berlingo is a pretty decent thing. You just wouldn't know it to look at it. Now, I've been doing a lot of motorway driving today, and at 75, 80 miles an hour, it's not that noisy in here either. I expected quite a lot of wind noise off the big door mirrors, but you don't get it. You don't get a lot of tyre noise either. It's just a decent all-rounder. It's not a Rolls Royce, but it's far better than you expect, and this little armrest really does add to the comfort, especially when you're going around left-hand bends. But yeah, been getting 45 mpg. It feels narrow. Look, there's a van coming the other way. Thank you, van. And you can just nip through without having to breathe in. It's a nice size. It drives reasonably well. And the seats are pretty comfortable as well. So yeah, there's a lot to like about this car. Let's go back to me for an outro in which I'll probably call it a van, then a car, then a van, then a car, because I'm inconsistent. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. To sum up, the Citroen Berlingo isn't for you if you care about fashion and Balenciaga butt plugs and things like that. It's for people that live active lives, who have stuff that they need to get from A to B, maybe children, maybe wheelchairs, things like that. And it is one of those cars that until you drive it, you don't realise how much better it can make your life, having that massive boot, having a bit more interior space than usual, storage absolutely everywhere. And it's also, in this climate, quite an affordable thing at £25,000. You're getting a lot of space for your money, and I think Citroen's done the right thing by bringing back diesel that can do 500 miles on a tank. So yes, I appreciate it's not for everyone, no car is, and I appreciate it might look a little bit, what's the word? A little bit dull, but I don't mind, because once you actually live with it, it kind of just adds to your life and it becomes part of the family. So I see why these are so popular, and I'm glad Citroen has rejuvenated it and brought it back in diesel and petrol form. Anyway, I'm waffling. If you've liked this video, hit the big cartoon thumbs up. It really does help me out. Do subscribe to the channel because I've got plenty more car reviews coming soon. They're not all Berlingo reviews. And I'll see you next time. Go down to the comments and leave me the French word for sliding doors. Bye.